We had a massive injury scare last night in the game back from the All-Star game against the Minnesota Wild. We've also have some updates on some major injuries that we now think could be worse than we thought. We also have an update on a major prospect with this team, Ethan Mastro, who has been playing very well in the AHL. So we're going to be touching on all of this here in this video. But before we get into all of that, we know that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your Blackhawks news as it happens, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news for your Chicago Blackhawks and around the NHL as it happens. But like I said, we need to start this one off with something that made my heart sink last night against the Minnesota Wild. I was going to make a video last night, the post game for this one, but over in Newfoundland, it was way too late. I was in bed already by the time this game was not even over. So, we need to talk about this now. And Jason Dickinson had quite the injury scare for many fans, many people like watching this game. Last night, Charlie Roumeliotis said that he's seen Jason Dickinson, this is from another tweet, limping to the X-ray room. Although Luke Richardson said he was fine, said he was okay. But this morning, he was not practicing for maintenance reasons, blocked a shot late in the third period last game and had to be checked out. This right here is very scary. Obviously, if people say he's fine, that should mean he's fine. But you never know what could be hiding, what could be lingering. And this is just something that I think we need to keep an eye on. But, Nick, how crucial would it be if this team loses Jason Dickinson for a little while due to an injury that may have occurred on this play?
Well, we mentioned not wanting games to get out of hand, and Jason Dickinson being in the games, being the player that he is, the well-rounded player that he is, and having a little bit of offensive upside this year, is kind of what's keeping the games from getting away. And to lose him for an extended period of time late in the season, we know Bedard is probably close to coming back now at this point, but, losing Jason Dickinson would be a huge blow to this team going down the stretch here.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be fine, but it's going to be something to monitor, You'll definitely be able to feel that for the next few days, Jason Dickinson will, so hopefully that he won't take another shot there again. If he does, how unlucky would that be? But, hopefully things will be fine for Jason Dickinson. He was walking afterwards, he was fine, everybody's saying, so hopefully that is the case. But that is just something to keep an eye on going forward. But we also have another injury update to Connor Murphy. Previously, we thought that he was going to be, close to returning. He started skating again, getting back into, normal on-ice activities, but apparently that is not the case. We have an update here from Charlie Roumeliotis' 10 thoughts, or 10 observations after the game last night, and Connor Murphy remains out with a groin injury. He skated on his own before practice Monday and Tuesday, but it doesn't appear that he's close to returning. So, it seems like he may have suffered a setback, seems like he may have just been getting on the ice as soon as possible to get back to that rhythm, but, this is another huge loss for the time being. Connor Murphy being on that shallow right-handed side of the defense, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. You have right now, you have Jason Megna, who they got earlier this season. You also have Isaac Phillips there, and they're working out, but, the defense needs to be a bit better, and there's not much they can do with the injuries they have. So, Connor Murphy, obviously a huge loss, along with Nikita Zaitsev, are the two that are missing on that right side D. But Nick, what do you think they do for in time that Connor Murphy's out? Do you think they stick with what they got? Do you think they maybe go down, see if anybody in the AHL wants to come up for an opportunity, or do you think they should stick with what they have right now?
I think that what they have right now is it's not been, nothing's really working out right now, but it's to the point where those guys are getting a little bit more comfortable with each other, I think. And that's a huge thing when you're playing defense. You got to get comfortable with your partner and stuff like that, and the way they play, and you got to figure out the system together, the coach's system together. But I mean, in a season like this, like we've said before, you're going to see a lot of ups and downs, a lot of guys going up, a lot of guys coming down throughout the season. They haven't had much of that opportunity now with all the injuries. This season, they've been riddled with injuries right from the start. So you haven't seen much of that. And I think they were hoping a lot of those guys would probably come back, because you're seeing right now, all of a sudden Tampa Bay needs a defenseman to eat a lot of minutes. Mikhail Sergachev is going to be out for the rest of the season. We don't know what it is yet, but I mean, you look at what happened there. He's out for the rest of the season. He's not coming back. So I think they were hoping a lot of those guys would come back for reasons like this, not only because you want them back on your team, obviously, but you could possibly use some of those guys as trade chips. You never know. But right now, I think they just stick with what they got, and you might see someone come up or down, but I think they're mostly just going to stick with the guys they have there.
No, I'm in complete agreement with you. I'll pull this up again. Jacob McDonagh, I think I said Jason earlier. I do apologize for that. And Isaac Phillips. Both of those guys have been playing pretty well. Kevin Korchinkski has been playing well with Jacob McDonagh. Alex Vlasic and Seth Jones. We know how good Alex Vlasic's been. Seth Jones he's been there. He's been pretty solid, but he hasn't been anything special. And obviously the third pairing at Jared Tenorti. That's not a horrible one either. That's an okay third line defense, but they're playing well. We can't deny that. They've been playing pretty well recently. They just haven't been able to get the goals. There's many games before the All-Star break that they should have won. They should have easily won. They just couldn't get the puck in the back of the net. But the defense stepped up, played well along with Peter Mrazek, which is a big sign for this team that things are heading in the right direction, even when things are not completed. But speaking on the side of the defense, we have one more prospect update to touch on here before we finish this one off, and that's Ethan Del Mastro. Like I said earlier, in the AHL this season, he's been playing very well, and a lot of representation from around the league. A lot of the AHL coaches and everything are praising him for what he's been doing. He was representation this year at the All-Star game for Rockford. He's putting up 21 points in 41 games. Now, this is not bad at all for a younger defenseman on this Ethan Del Mastro, waiting for his turn in the NHL. And you can see also by his junior numbers and from what we've been watching for him playing with Team Canada in the World Juniors, he has a lot of promise. I am very excited to see what ends up coming with him. And this is what their coach said, Anders Sorensen. He goes, I think he's come a long way with his overall play, especially his defensive habits. His stick has gotten a lot better, how it defends, the rush is much better, and obviously we saw some opportunity was as our power play guy. So this is obviously a very good sign for the Blackhawks if he's doing this in the AHL. We know the left side defense is pretty stacked up right now with Korchinkski and Alex Vlasic. But, Nick, where do you think Ethan Del Mastro stands in this organization? Do you think that eventually, maybe next season, he understands that he's not going to be rushing to the NHL anytime soon? But do you think he has a spot on this team with this very loaded up left side defense? Or do you think he could be a trade target for years to come?
Well, I think when you have that many left-handed D prospects, and they've probably got even more than that, but just the guys that are there right now, and him being almost on the way up to the NHL within the next few years, I mean, you can never have too many, right? So, what I'm seeing with him now is, the coach has been saying all those things about how his stick is upgraded and all that stuff. You want to just throw that up again there for a second? Yep. His stick has gotten better, how he defends, the rush is better. With those things getting better in the AHL as a rookie, and the numbers kind of moving along with it, you kind of see the numbers kind of creep in after all those defensive upgrades happen. But with him being able to keep up with those things getting better and the numbers starting to increase, I think this guy has real star potential in the NHL.
Yeah, no, I agree with you here. I really like Ethan Del Mastro. He's been one of my favorite players since he played in the OHL, and I'm very excited to see when the time comes what he can do with the Chicago Blackhawks, because I think he's going to be a great piece to add this team. He is a big kid. He's 6'4", I believe 210, 215, slots well into the Chicago defense where they already have some size, and I think he's going to be very promising when the time comes with Chicago. He's got a mix of offense and defense, and like you've seen from Anders Sorensen, his defense is getting much better, which is a very good sign for someone like this, and where you see it in the AHL. Hopefully it'll develop to the NHL when the time does come, but, like I said, I'll put the defense here once again. Having Alex Vlasic, Kevin Korchinkski, and if you add Ethan Del Mastro to that over over Jared Tenorti, this would be a very, very solid left side defense for years to come. All of these guys are below the age of 23. All of these guys could have the possibility of being on this team for a long time. Kevin Korchinkski, Alex Vlasic, those two right now are, I would say, guaranteed to be untouchable. Alex Vlasic is supposed to be getting a long-term contract. That's what we've been hearing from Charlie Roumeliotis, Luke Richardson, Kyle Davidson, that is the plan going forward. We know Kevin Korchinkski is going to get one, and if Ethan Del Mastro can join that group, I think we have a powerhouse left-side defense, one of the best in the league in a few years, that the Blackhawks could have in this locker room, which I think is super exciting.
It's not something you can't do either, because obviously you can't do it forever. I was just going to mention how Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup with Hedman, McDonagh, and Sergachev was down there on the third pairing, right? And we know Mikhail Sergachev's obviously better than the third pairing. but they stacked their left side D. The right side D wasn't as good, but it was solid to play along with them. As long as you have at least one like star guy on every line and a solid guy, that's a recipe for success in this league. Now, like obviously I said, you can't do it forever because obviously they had to pay Sergachev his money and they had to trade away McDonagh. But if Chicago can start off with something like this, 3 young guys like that, studs on the left side, it could be a recipe for success in the future.
Yeah, and we've seen Alex Vlasic is not going to be getting too much money. He's definitely earned his payday after this season, the way he's been playing, but he's not going to command upwards of 6-7 million. Not yet, at least. He's a very solid lockdown defenseman. He won't put up points, but he suits that line well along with Seth Jones, and I think you could really put anybody with him, and they will draw some success. So, maybe they do decide to do that. Maybe they stack up this left side defense for years to come. I will not be opposed to it. I really like the way this looks on paper, at least, and I see huge potential coming out of it. But I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments below. This is obviously lots of time left before anything happens with Ethan Del Mastro, but the possibility of this gets me excited, and I want to know what you guys think. But that's all we got. If you did enjoy, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to hit the sub button as well, like I said, if you don't want to miss out on any Blackhawks content. But that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.